Hello, in this video we're going to write a JavaFX program that tests whether the mouse cursor is inside a circle. So we're going to be listening for mouse movement, and then we're going to use the contains method that belongs to circle for testing the intersection for us. So again, I'm using a pre-release version of Java 8 and a developer build of Eclipse to get Lambda support. Hopefully this isn't a problem for you by the time you're watching this video. But anyway, over in Eclipse, we will create a new Java project, and I'll call this circle test. And to this, we'll add a new class, also called circle test. Okay, we're going to make our class, actually before we do that, let's give us some room. We're going to make our class extend from application. And we're going to create our start method, which takes a stage as its parameter. Okay, next up, this is going to be a very, very simple program. We're just going to have a pane, and in our pane, we're going to have a circle node and a text node. The text node we're going to update depending on whether the mouse cursor moves inside or outside of the circle. So to do this, we'll need a pane. We'll construct this with the default constructor. We will need our circle. Now, what we're going to do is position it and set the radius in the constructor. So what we need is the center in X. So we'll set this to 100, 60 for the position in Y, and 50 for our radius. Next up, we will set the color of both the line and the fill of our circle. So set fill to be color dot white. Set the stroke to be black. Okay, next up we're going to create our text node, and we can use the default constructor for this because we're going to be setting the text based on the mouse movement. So text alright, now we're going to add both of these nodes to our pane. So pane.getChildren.add all, and we'll add our circle and our text node. Alright, now what we'll do is quickly set up our scene and our stage and get the window on the screen. We're going to set our pane as the main parent. 400 by 250 will be the size of our window. Set the title. Set the scene and show our stage. Okay, I'll quickly now jump down out of our start method and create a main method. And call launch with our arguments. So now we can run this program and we'll have a start. So you can see here that we have our circle, and we can't see a text node because there is no string set to be displayed. So what we're going to do now is work on a mouse listener that listens to our pane. Sorry, we're going to add a mouse listener to our pane, which listens for the mouse movement, and then we'll update our text node depending on whether the mouse cursor is inside or outside of our circle. So let's close that. So what we're going to do is down here, we're going to set a mouse moved listener to our pane. So pane.set on mouse moved. And again, we're going to use a lambda to make this a bit more concise. So E, then the minus greater than arrow symbol. So E becomes our event that we're actually dealing with. Opening and closing block. And so what we're going to do is test for whether the mouse cursor is inside our circle. Now, if we were going to do this ourselves, what we would have is here's our circle, and then we would have our mouse cursor here. I cannot draw an arrow. So then what we would have to do is calculate the distance from our mouse cursor to the center of the circle. And then we can use Pythagoras' theorem to work out, we use Pythagoras' theorem to work out the distance between these 2 points, the cursor and the circle, and then we compare this with the radius of our circle, and if the distance is less than the radius, then our mouse cursor is in our circle. That's how we would normally have to do it. However, JavaFX makes this a little bit easier for us. Circle has a contains method, so we can go if circle.contains. Now we need our point, so we need the position of the mouse cursor, which we can get from our event. Get x e.get y. Then we are going to set the text to the point is inside the circle. So text.set text. Like that. Otherwise, if the circle does not contain the mouse cursor, we're going to say that it's outside. Like that. So now let's run our program. I should have positioned our text a little bit better than that. So the problem we have is our text node is all the way up here, which is not where we want. We never positioned it in our pane. So what we're going to do is set the position of our text field to be the position of our mouse cursor. So this is very easy. We use the setX method and just get the mouse cursor's x value. So e.getX. And we can do the same thing for y. So now when we run our program, you can see that at the moment nothing's there. As soon as I move the mouse cursor, we get mouse point is outside the circle, and as soon as I move it in, mouse point is inside the circle. So you can, with that, that's really it for this video. We've looked at how we can use the contains method. In our case, we're using the circles contains method, but the other shapes have this method as well. And then we're using a listener to listen to the mouse movement and then update both the text and the position of the text based on the mouse cursor. So with that, that's it for this video. Thanks a lot.